All right, little baby. All right, guys, we are down here with pink collar puppy Oreo, and we are going to be going through our video recap of all the things that we've been practicing with Oreo and the other puppies for this last week, so you can see the progress that they're making. So you'll get one of these videos at the end of each week. Hi, Oreo. And just real quick too, in your initial confirmation email when you registered for the Stay and Train program, there's a lot of information in there. Information on how to book your Zoom lesson for after your puppy goes home. I'll be opening up my availability this weekend, so make sure that you get that done next week or the week after before your puppy goes home. You'll also have a link in there to access your handouts and then also some video examples, the video library. So again, I'm going to go over what we've been practicing, with Oreo, but I highly recommend that if you want to keep these good habits going, that you practice these things at home once your puppy comes home to generalize that behavior. And so we have a full video library where I go into detail about all of the behaviors, how we train them, and why we train them, okay? So make sure that you check out all that information. Hopefully this weekend, if you have any questions, you can always shoot us an email. All right, but I think we're gonna get started with Oreo. She is ready to go. All right, little puppy. Snowy outside, you got wet paws. Get that. All right, so I'm gonna grab some food with Oreo. The very first thing that we do with these puppies is we condition them to the clicker. So this is a video all on its own. One of the very first things that we teach the puppies is about the clicker. So make sure, again, you watch the video library because I go into a lot more detail explaining these things there. All right, so I'm going to start by charging the clicker, teaching Oreo that when she hears the sound, that means she's going to get a food reward. Okay? So I don't know, in week 1, I might do this like 3 to 5 times. So when your puppies come home, I recommend starting at week 1 and going through all these things because your puppies are going to know the behaviors because we've been practicing them for the last few weeks, but you don't know the behaviors, right? Good girl. Okay, so now we've charged that clicker a few times. We're going to move into teaching Oreo how to follow the food lure. We teach a lot of behaviors by having our dogs follow food, so they need to know how to do that. Also for you, we recommend holding your treat underneath your underneath your thumb against a flat palm like that. This will prevent the puppy from biting your fingers. So I avoid holding treats like this, and I hold treats like this. So now you can see how we're gonna do that with Oreo. I'm gonna show her that I have the cookie against my flat palm, and then Oreo's gonna follow that cookie in my hand. When I'm ready to give it to her, I click the clicker and then release the treat. Same thing with the other hand. Okay, so she's following that food lure, and see how I can flip my palm around and that makes Oreo turn around. Super dog. And the whole time she's just licking my hand, she's not biting at it. So this is also teaching Oreo bite control. Good girl. And that she doesn't get things by biting, just by licking. Super dog. Oh, you have to get it. It's right here. Good girl. Okay, now the next thing that we teach the puppies is what their name is. So we're going to pair this following a food lure with Oreo's name. Oreo. And shortly after I say her name, I'm going to click and release the cookie. Oreo. Good girl. Let's do that a couple more times. Oreo. That one got stuck. It's right there. Good girl. Oreo. Perfect. Good girl. Here, smart little baby. Okay, so from here, sometimes we might want to reward our dogs by putting food on the ground instead of feeding from our hand. Okay, so at which point, I'm not going to use the clicker for this one. I'm just going to show Oreo that I have a piece of food, and I'm going to pair it with a release word, and you'll see in a minute when we use this release word. Okay, so I'm showing her that it's in my hand, but I'm saying okay and then putting it on the ground. Okay. Okay. And then you can see she can start to chase these cookies. Okay. And that can be fun for the dog too. Okay. Good girl, Oreo. Okay. All right, so I'm not using the clicker for the release word. Easy peasy, just saying the word. Okay. And then putting the food on the ground. You're so smart. Okay, so that was a bunch of stuff that we already went over right in the first couple of minutes. We're just going to take a brief little play break, right? These are tiny little babies. So we can't do a million things all at once. We want to take little play breaks in between. Hi, good girl. Super dog. And when you're training at home with your puppy, your training sessions don't need to be 20-minute marathon sessions like these recap videos are. You could just pick 2 or 3 things, practice them, and then later in the day you could do another 2 or 3 things. Right now we're doing a 20-minute marathon because I need to make this video for you, which is why we're taking a little play break right now. Good girl, Oreo. I got a few different types of toys here, and I'm encouraging her to try to go after the toys. Totally normal behavior. She's a tiny little sweet little puppy. She does want to climb in my lap. But during playtime, you know, I might pet her a little bit, but then I'm going to kind of put her back down on the ground and I'm going to try to get her to chase the toys again, okay? This is also important. You want to teach your dog to play with you, not to teach the dog that you are the toy. It's fine to give the dog affection, right? Good puppy. But I also want to teach them that if they want to use their mouth, that we do that down here on the toy and not on me. Good girl, Oreo. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're sweet. You're so sweet. Good girl. Where's that toy? Where's that toy? All right, we're going to move on to our next few things here. So I'm going to grab the food in our clicker again. These dogs are all super food motivated in this litter, which is fantastic. It makes training easy. So now we're going to practice some hand targets. The hand target is, it might look similar to following a food lure. So remember, this is following a food lure. But for the hand target, I'm actually going to disconnect from the puppy. So I'm going to start by showing her that I have the food. But then I'm going to pull my hand away. Touch. Good girl. Touch. When the puppy reconnects with my hand, that's when I'm clicking and letting her have the treat. Touch. So this is a movement behavior. We want to move the dog from point A right here, touch, to point B over here, wherever I put my hand for the hand target. Touch. Good girl. That time I did not have food in my hand. Touch. Super dog. And so you can see how this can sort of be like an informal recall, calling the dog over to target your hand. Oreo, touch. Super puppy. So smart. Okay. What a good girl. Okay, so now we're going to practice the first position that we'll do with our position changes here. We're going to do a couple of sits. So I'm going to use the release word okay for this exercise as well. I gotta get some cookies that are crumbling in my hand. You're such a good baby. Okay, so she's on that food lure, and I'm going to move her into the sit. When she sits, I'm going to give her a piece of food. And then if she stays sitting, I'm going to give her another piece of food. Okay, and then release her out of position with that release word okay. Let's do that again. Following the food lure, luring into the sit. Click when she finds position. Cookie 1, cookie 2. Okay, release her out of position. You're the smartest puppy. Oh, that's a big one. Break that in half. Let's do this 2 more times. Okay, she's following the food lure, lure into position, sit. Mark with the clicker when she's there. Feed 2 cookies in a row. Okay. Release her out. 1 more time. She said anything for food. Oh, good puppy. Following the food lure. And sit. Super dog. Okay. Wow. Look at you, so smart. Touch. Yeah, good girl. All right, the next thing that we're gonna do is first step in the mat. This one is gonna be your stay behavior. Okay, we're putting the foundations on this behavior. So if a stay is important to you, definitely something you're gonna have to keep working on at home. Okay, so in week 1, we just teach the puppies that coming onto their mat means that they're gonna get clicks and cookies. Oreo is a smart little puppy. She came over and just offered me a down, so I'm gonna roll with that. Okay. So she comes over onto the mat. I'm gonna feed her a few pieces in a row to build value for being on the mat. Look at you, little baby. You're so smart. Here we go. Okay. And then I release her off of the mat with that okay. You can do this like 3 or 4 times. Super baby. Okay. Good girl. Let's do one more. This is such a versatile behavior. I definitely recommend that you keep practicing this one at home. This one is great for problem prevention. So for example, my dogs lay on their mat whenever we're eating. And then I don't have dogs that beg at the table. Okay. But this is how we started. Super short little durations of building value for being on the mat. Oh my goodness, you're so smart, Oreo. Look at you. Pew, pew, pew. Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Tiny little play break again. We've got just a couple more things to go over. Actually, I'm going to get her dressed in her harness. One of the things that you want to socialize your dog with right off the bat is wearing different types of gear. Even a collar. When a collar is first put on baby puppies, they don't know what it is. They scratch at it. It's weird, all that stuff. And so we want to teach them about wearing something like a harness right away to get them comfortable in that as well. Good girl. There are a million different types of harnesses on the market. This is just what we have that we're working with these puppies. As your puppy grows, maybe you find a harness or you decide not to use a harness, like it really doesn't matter, but we just want to socialize them to something being on their body right off the bat. So for these step-in style harnesses, I like to hold the puppy like this, get their feet in. Then we're gonna do the Velcro. I'm showing you this in detail too because I think these puppies go home with these harnesses. Then we do the snap. So you can see I got this on her. Easy peasy, no fuss, no fight. Then I'm gonna put her down and I'm just gonna toss a couple of cookies. Okay, just to get her moving and grooving in her harness a little. Okay, sometimes when we first put the harnesses on that first week, the puppies act like, you know, they're wearing a straitjacket or something. Okay, which is normal. These puppies all took their harnesses really easy peasy. Okay, which is great. Good girl, look at you in your harness, yeah. Okay. Good job. Touch. Super girl. Good girl, Oreo. Sit. Super. Okay. Great, so I just wanted to show you how we get their harnesses on them. That was so good. And we'll work them a little bit more and more in their harnesses each week. And the same way that I put it on, I take it off, hold the puppy so there's no, chance of the dog trying to escape me. And we just undo the snap and the Velcro. Great, and the last thing that we're gonna work on in this video that I'm gonna show you, I'm not gonna use the clicker for this one just because I need both hands. I'm gonna come down here with the puppy. If it's comfortable for you to do these exercises on the floor, like I am right now, you certainly can. Or you could even pick your puppy up and put them up onto a surface, a counter or a table or something like that. But we're gonna work on some handling exercises now. So you can do this in whatever way makes sense for you. Like there's a grooming table behind me. I could certainly do these exercises up on the grooming table. But because it's behind the gate and everything and I'm comfortable to get on the ground, we're just gonna do them down here. So I have a few pieces of food in my hand. I'm gonna let Oreo see that I have it. She's following it a little. Now I'm just gonna hold her still here. She's licking the food. And I'm just gonna start by petting her. Yes. And instead of clicking the clicker here, I'm saying yes, just because I need both hands for this. Now I'm gonna start to go through and handle different parts of her body. Yes. So you can see there, I picked up her ears, massaged her ear canals, marked that with the yes. Yes, and then I'm letting her have a piece of food, okay? So I'm doing ears, both front feet. Yes, good girl. Then we're gonna take a little break. Okay, I'm gonna let her chase that cookie. She's gonna come back to me because she's like, I want more snacks, this is great. This time, little restraint. I'm gonna take my hand under her belly here, just kind of hold her still. Yes, and feed her just for being restrained. Good girl. We're gonna work back feet. Yes. Super job, puppy. Yes. And tail. Yes. And then release her out. Okay. Let her chase that cookie. Great. So I know that this seems pretty simple, but I definitely recommend doing these exercises. They're just as important as our sits, our little stays on our mat, the hand targets. Your dog is going to need a lifetime of veterinary and grooming care, so make sure that your puppy is comfortable being handled that way. It is not your vet or your groomer's job to teach your puppy to be comfortable with handling. That's your job. They're just there to do the service, right? So if you have any questions, again, please shoot us an email. Oreo did fantastic for her week 1 recap. Make sure that you check out all the resources, the links to your resources in your confirmation email, and watch your week 1 videos and get your Zoom lesson booked in the next couple weeks.